Welcome to Can I Park Here? Brought to you by findafashiontruck.com. Nashay and Estrell's mission is to inspire future and existing small business owners. They don't claim to be experts. They're simply trying to figure this all out, just like you.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Can I Park Here podcast, brought to you by findafashiontruck.com. My name is Nashay, and I'm here with
Estrell.
To start out, we have some great advice from someone who left a message on our SpeakPipe voicemail widget located on our podcast page.
My advice to small business owners would be to Google yourself and to figure out ways to improve how people find you online, because we always kind of think people can find us or it's easy because we have a website, but we don't notice what they might be Googling or what they might be searching to find us. And my name is Barry, and I run podcastincolor.com.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time to give advice to all of our listeners. You know, you are an awesome person as far as sharing all of our Twitter posts and, on social media. We really appreciate that.
We have another great episode for you guys today. We're going to talk about them a little bit because it's all about Kickstarter and using it for your business. But I wanted to back up and talk about something that I told you guys about last week, which is a way to be a patron for the Can I Park Here podcast. We had a couple of questions about it, and so we figured we'd address it quickly before this show. And it's kind of relevant too, because it's another way of kind of like crowdfunding your idea or getting a support from your audience. If you go to startafashiontruck.com/support, it'll take you to our patron page. And as I explained last week, it's a way for people to kind of pay for the podcast. But I just wanted to clarify that when you become a patron, let's say if you donate $1, that you're agreeing to donate $1 for every episode until you just decide to cancel. So for example, you could do $5 and we do 4 shows a month. So that means that you're donating $20 to us. The cool thing about the site is you can cancel at any time. You can adjust your amount at any time, or you could just go on there. You could pledge or be a patron, and pledge a certain amount to us to thank us for the shows. And then shortly after cancel. So then it's just one payment. So it's like whatever you feel the most comfortable with. But we just wanted to make it clear that it's a subscription service. So you're kind of subscribing to our podcast and agreeing to pay whatever amount you so choose. It could be $1, it could be $2, $5, $20, $50, whatever you feel most comfortable with. And we got our first dollar. Woohoo! Yesterday. So we were really excited about that. It takes very little to get us excited. But just wanted to
just Nashay. I'm not going to get excited until I see like $100 an episode.
But you know what? I just love that, this is just like a new day, a new era. And just like the women today are going to talk about how they're going to use Kickstarter in order to help their business. Like we're using Patreon to like help continue to fund what we do and to help us like become better and so forth. But there's just so many awesome online tools for like crowdsourcing and funding artists or creators or makers. I was even just telling Estrell earlier, and if I remember, we'll post it in the Let's Talk About Fashion Truck Facebook group. But I found a fashion boutique that's doing a Groupon. So I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool. I never even thought like, oh, I guess a fashion truck could do a Groupon where you could get a coupon or whatever in order to shop in their truck. The fashion truck that has it on Groupon right now is Fierce Finds Mobile Boutique, based in Baton Rouge, Florida. So, I mean, I just bring all this up because there's so many different ways to connect to other people, to help different people. And it's just pretty cool that all of these resources are out there to help small business owners or entrepreneurs or just artists, people with their hobbies, whatever. But anywho, I will get off of my tech.
You talk so much.
When I start talking about technology.
I'm trying to talk and you just keep going. I'm like, oh my God. Okay. But before she cuts me off again, okay, let me just say that another reason why we decided to sign up for the Patreon crowdfunding website is because it's not a very popular site. You know, most people don't know about it. And what we like to do, since we always share new ways to grow your business or tips and advice for small business owners, we decided to try this out ourselves to see how successful we are. And then that way we can relay it to our audience and the people who follow us so that they will have a little bit more motivation to try and use it. And then we can give tips and tricks for, you know, other people when they get ready to try it. So, you know, if it's successful for us, we'll let everybody know. If we like completely bomb, we'll let you know that too.
Yeah, but we don't want to bomb.
I'm just saying, if.
I know.
If.
But yeah, anywho, I'll get off of my tangent and let Astrell talk about the awesome ladies that are about to open a mobile boutique in 2016. So yeah, let's do that.
So we have Allison and Meagan. They are from New York City, and they have decided to open up their own mobile boutique. And they've actually been in the works planning this for the last couple of years. And from the bulk of 2015, they've been taking business classes. They've been planning by going to trade shows, trying to figure out what products they want to have and this and that. So we're going to hear their story, how they got started, what they plan to sell, and why they started to do the Kickstarter campaign. And they will also give a little bit of advice or tips to others who plan on starting their own Kickstarter campaign. So here we go.
Welcome, Allison Meagan. We really appreciate you guys coming on the Can I Park Here podcast.
Thank you.
Hi.
So we're just going to begin. So I'll let the listeners know what's unique about this story is Allison and Meagan are just getting started. And so we're just going to kind of dig into kind of their process and what they're doing in order to kind of prepare to start their mobile boutique. But before we do, can you guys just tell us a little bit about yourselves and then why you decided to start this mobile boutique together?
So, a little about me. I guess for background-wise, I have a degree in photography, and then also went to school here in New York at Parsons for a bit for interior design and architecture. Through that, I started doing some freelance exhibit design, window display stuff, and really started to appreciate like the big scale and small scale forms of architecture, but all the while still needing to somehow pay rent. So working at a restaurant, which is where I met Allison, and we we became fast friends, and and her background and my background, while they're pretty different, we have the same aesthetic, which works really nicely. And she can tell you a little bit about her background.
Yeah, so I have a background in fashion. I have a degree in clothing design and worked in various jobs. I worked in design for a while and in merchandising and the sales aspect of it too. Worked in my last fashion-related job was in a showroom. So we actually worked with boutiques and smaller shops selling them clothes. So we represented about 9 different clothing lines. And so that's where I really kind of got the knowledge and experience of the buying process, because I learned a lot from those people about, how they sort of merchandise and just like the whole process of it. It was really, really educating. And that was sort of when I really started to develop the idea for Hunt and Gather, because it was always sort of in the back of my mind that I wanted to own a store. It was like a dream, forever. But then once I started getting the skills and, you know, learning from some of the pros, it really became more of a reality and sort of like a closer dream than I originally thought it would be.
Yeah. So it was like Allison's brainchild. And then obviously we both don't want to, well, our dream is not to work in a restaurant forever. So no. It's cool for some people. It's not ours. It's not our thing.
Yeah.
So
at what point was that this year where you guys were like, you know what, like let's make this happen?
It was about
it was in November of 2013 that it really sort of like
at 10 o'clock p.m.
hit me like in the head. I was walking my dog and was like, you know, I was just kind of just brainstorming and just sort of thinking about my next moves. And then I remembered seeing like years ago in a magazine a store called, I think it was called Wanderlust. I don't even remember. It was like old. It was like a Airstream that sold vintage clothes.
Yeah,
like
they're still out there.
They're really still around. Cool. Yeah. But it just like, it popped in my head and I just remembered it. And then I was like, oh, that's a really great idea. You know, the mobile thing. And then the name Hunt and Gather sort of like popped in my head kind of at the same time. And then I was like, oh, I was, you know, out walking my dog. So it's like, I should look that up when I get home and make sure that's not like a thing already that I saw. Yeah. And so that's sort of where it all started, was me just kind of brainstorming. Yeah. And then I kind of kept looking into it and, you know, doing more research, and it just sort of snowballed from there and is turned into a thing now.
Wow.
Now, like what kind of products do you plan on selling? Is it going to be stuff that you guys make personally, or do you plan on working with like small independent designers? What are your plans for the products?
Yes, so a little bit of both, actually. I previously, before kind of going all in with Hunt and Gather, was I have my own design kind of world and was making a lot of things and selling them, you know, through Etsy and various things. So those things will also be highlighted in the truck as well. They're mostly like home goods and lifestyle stuff. But primarily, we're going to be doing a lot of local Brooklyn, New York-based local designers. That's kind of our thing, if you will. But as far as specific merchandise in the store, we initially had wanted to do a lot of, mostly primarily apparel, with a little bit of lifestyle and a little bit of maybe jewelry, accessories, that kind of thing. But over the course of the past, 2 years of going to trade shows and different events here in New York and you know, all the little flea markets and holiday stores and everything that they have here in New York for small makers and designers, it's really hard to find clothing. And watch, after this, like 1,000 clothing designers will be like, what does that mean? But it's really hard to find local clothing that isn't like super high concept and like very conceptual, and also who it's in the right price range for our customer. It was proving to be really difficult. So we've kind of recently shifted our idea a little bit of what we're going to sell, and we're going to kind of stop trying to fit a square peg in a round hole and do more of the accessories, more of the lifestyle, and then, you know, as much apparel as we can find, but not be so married to that idea. But definitely we want to keep it local and New York, Brooklyn based. That's our main idea.
Just wanted to back up for a second, just so people can understand like the journey, because I'm just curious, between November of 2013 and now, like what are some of the steps you guys took to like prepare for your 2016 launch? Like, I know you've already mentioned, Meagan, like the trade shows, but I'm just curious, like what was the process of getting to this point?
So when I first came up with the idea and really started researching it, I started taking a few business classes to sort of streamline my focus and to kind of, because, when you just first start to think, oh, I'm going to start a business, you don't really know where to begin. It's just like a lot of thoughts out there. So this was before Meagan was involved yet. I was just kind of like taking classes and doing a lot of research. And then probably like 6 months into it, I guess, is when Meagan and I kind of approached each other with the idea of maybe like going into this together. So then she decided to start taking a few classes and kind of starting to do a lot of research. So the first, I would say, year was really us just trying to do research and
going to school.
Yeah, and just trying to learn as much as we could about, the business side of it. We have a lot of knowledge about retail and about, the whole other stuff, but just being like a business itself, there's a lot of stuff that you don't really know about. So that was a big process. We had to get registered, and getting our logo and all that stuff was a big part of it. We kind of did that during the first year while we were taking classes. So and then really the last year, this 2015, we've spent a ton of time working on this Kickstarter. We filmed our video back in February, and it's just been such a process getting everything like lined up. And, we've been doing other things too. We've, like she said, been going to trade shows, just sort of finding what we want. We're not ready to buy it yet, but we have everything sort of like lined up, so that when we do have our truck and we are ready to launch, it's just right there. All we have to do is make phone calls or emails. But yeah, it's been a really long process.
In regards to the trade shows, we have a lot of listeners that are newbies, and they want to know how to get into the business and how to start getting products to sell. Like, what did you have to do in order to start going to the trade shows? Is there anything in particular that you need in order to place orders, or can you give us a little bit of what to expect when you go?
Sorry. You need to have a tax identification number for sure. That was one thing we definitely, which we had all of that lined up, but I was surprised when we were registering for shows how many of the companies demanded that you have all of that stuff. You can't go if you're not a real business.
Yeah, they're really doing
okay.
Yeah. Which is unfortunate, because it was really helpful for us to be able to walk around and like see what's out there without buying anything. And luckily we did have all of that information, but some people aren't ready to have, their tax identification number yet. So,
but that's how you get in. That's how you get like a confirmation email and a pass, and you go and you show up and they scan your pass, and then you can walk around all day. All day.
Now, is it like, do you guys have to pay to get in, or is it just you sign up with the ID?
They're usually free. I think there's a couple that if you don't register early, you have to pay maybe like $60 or something. But we've been to a ton, and everyone we've been to has been free. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, and there's so many out there. Luckily we live in New York, so we have easy access. But, for people that don't live here, can't get by, there's showrooms all over the country. So it's probably easier to, contact companies directly. Then you don't have to provide tax information or any of that stuff. You can just say, like, I want to look at what you're showing.
Yeah, they'll send you line sheets.
Yeah.
People are really helpful.
How do you guys plan on determining a budget for the products that you're going to purchase?
Well, we have, because we did, thankfully, we did all those business classes. It's been super helpful for just me and Allison to be able to kind of speak the same language as far as business goes. Because before that, we could have been like, so money here and money there. And now, overhead and, cash flow and all these little like buzzwords. So we have, we have our business plan. We have our, our costs broken down into like every little thing, down to like how much is Spotify going to cost us. So our budget for our clothing is going to probably be determined by like our square footage of our truck, how much clothing we actually find that we like as compared to like the accessories or the lifestyle stuff. It's going to be very dependent on getting the truck, I feel like, and how much space and square footage we have to work with.
So I love you guys' branding. So we're going to get into, of course, the Kickstarter and how you all prepared for it. But I was just looking on your Kickstarter page, and then there's like, and for the listeners out there, we'll include like a link to the Kickstarter in the show notes. But there's this cute little illustration of like your future truck with like this little fox driving it, and like a illustration of how it might look in a truck. And then you have like fabulous kind of like business cards and like bags. Like your branding is like really well done. Did you guys create it? Did you just source that out? And how did you guys come up with the concept, like your brand?
Yeah, so I had a friend who is a graphic designer, so I contacted him pretty early on and just said, this is my idea. I need to come up with a logo and a brand and all that. And so I told him the concept and sort of my vision, and he came back to me with, several ideas. And then from there, it was a lot of sort of back and forth and tweaking and redoing it. And so we finally, came up with something together that we really liked. And this was like right before Megan kind of joined on. And so luckily she liked it too. At that point. Yeah, so I don't have any experience with graphic design. Otherwise, I would have loved to have been able to do it myself. But it was a pretty hands-on process, I would say. And it definitely nailed my vision for what, we wanted to look like for our aesthetic and everything. So it was a really fun process.
And then a close friend of mine actually went to school for animation, and he was more than generous, and he did that whole truck sequence with the cute little fox and the shopping. So yeah, he did that for us, which is so amazing, because we find really, at least I've found when I speak about Hunt and Gather and the business, that I could be talking to somebody about it for maybe like a good straight 5 minutes, and then they'll be like, wait, what? You go into the truck?
Yeah.
So, and then you're like, yeah, that's what I've been saying. But what's really important for us, especially for the Kickstarter, to make sure that was very clear to our audience. Like, this is what it is. This is how it works. I know here in New York, there's a few going around, but I know this stuff is way more popular, out west and in the Midwest. So up here, it's kind of a newer concept, and every day people are like, wow, I've never heard of that. So it was really important for us to make sure people grasp the concept of literally walking into a truck. So we really wanted the animation to convey that and be really cute.
Well, you guys nailed it. You all nailed it. Yeah, it looks really good. And Esther, I'll tell you, I'm like super picky.
Yeah, she is.
But it's fabulous. But I totally understand the people not really understanding, because even sometimes when Estrella and I are talking to people about like, yeah, we run this like directory and we have a podcast and we interview people who own these mobile boutiques, and they're like, well, what do you mean? Like they walk up to the truck and then someone just hands you something, and it's like, right. No, you actually like walk into the truck. Yeah. And it's so crazy because there's like over 500 trucks in the US, but it's still, I feel like in certain areas, except maybe California, it's still this very novel and new idea,
Yeah, I forget, all the research we've been doing, I forget that, like, no one else does all this research, too, so that's not, like, the front of their brains. Right. Yeah, all of my friends call it the fashion food truck, and I'm like, it's not what it is.
Wow.
My brother, all the time, how's your food truck going? Stop.
Like, it's not a food truck.
Yeah.
So...
He's asking about it.
Right. So the Kickstarter, so can you walk us through that, like when you guys decided to do it and kind of what all went into preparing for it and then like how you're marketing it when it ends, but just kind of just walk kind of the audience through it just in case they want to support it or just in case they might want to do one for maybe their future mobile boutique.
Yeah, so it was a pretty easy decision for us to do it. We kind of went back and forth whether we should use Kickstarter or some of the other crowdfunding websites like Indiegogo or GoFundMe, but we really liked the concept of Kickstarter. You know, they're slightly pickier about, actually they're a lot pickier about like who they'll let, not just anyone can do a project. It has to be artistic or, somewhat creative. Where some of the other ones you can do a project for pretty much anything. And we, as scary as the all or nothing concept is of Kickstarter, it's also, I think it creates more of like a buzz and it kind of makes people feel more excited and kind of compelled to like give because there is a timeline. So those are some of the main reasons that we ultimately decided to go with Kickstarter. But as far as preparing, so we shot the video back in February thinking that we would launch in maybe like April, give it a couple months, and then it just sort of kept getting pushed back. We had the friend that created that animation for us. Megan's brother wrote the music for us, so it's people helping you out. So you can only rush them so much. You can't
be like, hey, timeline.
So a timeline kept getting pushed back. And also, with Kickstarter, you have to be somewhat strategic about when you launch, if you want to be successful, which you do. So we didn't want to launch at a bad time. And so we decided it's a little scary to do it over the Christmas season, but it seems like it's going pretty well so far, and people are still, being very generous. So we're happy with when we decided to launch it. But yeah, it was a lot of planning, and then once we started going underway, a lot of us just kind of sitting around and waiting for other people to do their part, and then when it was ready, we still had to wait a little while because we wanted to stick with the timeline that we did finally come up with. So we were ready for, sorry, that was my dog.
No worries.
We were ready a few weeks ago, but, wanted to wait a couple more weeks. So we did a few little last minute tweaks and to get it really, where we wanted it to be. And then just kind of waited around, and then we launched it last Monday, a week ago. And then it ends on January 7th in the morning. So it was a 45-day campaign. So yeah, it's going really well so far.
Yeah, you guys, it actually is really well.
We're 45% funded, which I'm pretty impressed with. It's been a
little over a week.
So yeah, we're pretty happy with it. It's still nerve-wracking. I mean, because, it's like if you don't make your goal, you don't get anything. So it's definitely... it's a character building process for sure.
I would say for anybody who's thinking about doing it to really be very organized. Like Allison and I had an entire meeting where we just sat down with our calendars and we're like, okay, we're going to send an email this day. We're going to make an Instagram post this day. We're going to use all of our social media resources every day. We have it down to like almost to the hour of what you're going to do, when you're going to do it, how you're going to reach people, who you're going to reach, and when. So while it looks like, we launched it and things are just happening, it's actually very meticulously planned out as far as our end goes. So that would be my advice.
How did you decide on the items to give to the contributors?
That was almost the longest part of the process.
That was hard.
Honestly, trying to figure out what to do. Because you want to make it worth people's money. And so, yeah, that was tough. And we kind of went back and forth on a lot of it.
Yeah.
Luckily, Megan, is an artist and makes a lot of really, really cool things. So we were able to use those resources. And then we have a couple friends that were generous enough to help us out. So, but yeah, it was tough.
It was tough to, once we got like the reward and what we were going to give as far as the items go, I feel like the toughest part was then to find out the proper tiers to put them in. Because you like almost overthink it, right? Because you're like, oh, somebody will pay $25, but will they pay $50? Should we even have a $50? Should we go from $25 to $75? Like, what is going to be? Because you really want to find your one kind of level where you know you're going to get the most people. I feel like we're giving away like magician's secrets or something. We're not terrible people. You want to find that one kind of reward tier that's going to reap the most benefit for you. And I think so far for us, it's been the $75 mark, maybe the $50. I don't really recall both of those. But you want to make sure that you don't have too many. Like I remember when we first started, we had like 25, 35, 50, 75, 100, 150, like way too many options. So you really want to like pare down and just give people almost less choice,
right.
But with the greatest reward. It's easier for people to digest that way, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, too many options overwhelm people.
Yeah.
I mean, it's great. Like for the listeners out there, at this point in time, of course, by the time this launches, hopefully, there'll be even more pledges, but they have $3,116 of their $7,000 goal with 35 backers and 36 days to go. It's, time of recording. And so if anybody wants to kind of go out there and support it, you contribute as little as $10, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
you can do it. You can do
anything. $10 is the lowest that you'll be like getting some sort of reward, but you could give $3. Anything helps, really.
Yeah, and then the ultimate $2,000 pack, though.
Hey,
if you even get one of those, that'll be pretty sweet.
Yep.
Now, so Kickstarter has the all or nothing thing, but what if you get more than your goal? You get to keep all of it, right?
We do, yeah. We do get to keep it. They do take a percentage as far.
Really?
Yes. They actually, all of them do, I think. They all take a percentage kind of off the top if you're successful. But after that, you do get to keep everything, even if it goes above and beyond your initial goal. And as for us, our goal, as you stated before, is $7,000, but anything above and beyond that is going to go 100% right into more work on the truck, helping with the build out, helping with, we have a really lovely friend that's offered to paint the truck for us, which we like that idea a little more than a wrap. Just being in New York, the wrap can get a little damaged with like the salt and the snow. Mm-hmm. So we're going to have a friend of mine is a graffiti artist, so he's used to working on like large scale stuff. So he's going to paint our truck for us. So anything above and beyond will go to sort of making her look really pretty.
And so I'm guessing since they take a percentage, like if I needed $1,000, like that is the exact amount I needed, I should probably pad it a little bit just so I can still walk away with what it is that I need.
Yeah, they suggest the website is actually a really great resource. They have a ton of tips on how to make successful Kickstarters. Like they really do want you to succeed. Probably because they get a little bit percentage, but it's really helpful. They suggest that whatever amount you land on as your goal, that includes, the little bit that they're going to take, and also what it costs to make these rewards or ship these rewards. They will really want you to take that into account when the total comes around, because if your total, like you said, if your goal is 1,000, they take off a percentage, and then you have to ship, and your shipping is like $200. Well, then you're out all that money that you didn't factor into the goal initially.
Right.
On the other side of that, you don't want to make your goal too much, because if you don't make it, then you don't get anything. Yeah. So it's kind of tough to get like right in that sweet spot, like right in the middle. But yeah, it's like a lot of just kind of.
It's a lot of planning and a lot of praying.
Yeah.
So let's say you meet the $7,000 goal or go beyond. What's the time frame you're going to be working off of in 2016? Like, when do you plan to hopefully do your official launch and all that other good stuff?
Well, because we have kind of terrible winters here in New York.
Yeah, I know, right?
We don't want to launch in the winter, obviously. We'd like to launch in the spring. So we're hoping to actually purchase the truck in like late winter, early spring, kind of depending on how it all pans out. And then Megan is from Syracuse, which is upstate New York. So we're probably
beautiful up there in the winter.
Beautiful upstate New York. So we'll probably, depending on where we purchase the truck from, end up taking it up to Syracuse and just leaving it there until we're ready to do all the build outs and everything. And then we'll work on it up there. So a lot of it's going to be DIY. We have a lot of people that have volunteered to help us. And, it's hard to say it for sure date, but, we love it for like April. That's if we find the truck and everything happens in the timeline, which we've learned already that like your timeline really doesn't mean anything.
Right. Just kind of happens organically.
Yeah. But, we'd love for it to be in the spring, so sometime April, May, even if it's like early June. Mm-hmm. That's the goal for sure.
And I love that you guys are building your social media following even before like the truck launches. So once the truck launches, of course, you'll have like a group of people who are going to be waiting in line to get in the truck. So how has that been, just kind of like getting more followers? I see like on Facebook too, you've really been pushing like the Kickstarter hard. So has social media helped you get, more donations?
Yeah. It has. I mean, I feel like I'm driving everyone crazy, but
I have a problem.
You can't be too hard. I mean, like it's
just for 45 days. It's okay.
Everyone can deal with it. But yeah, I mean, it's been a lot of fun. I mean, that's how we've met a lot of people that have helped us. That's how we've met a lot of vendors and a lot of other designers.
The girl that is in our Kickstarter video, actually, that was the first day we met her, was when we filmed the Kickstarter.
Neat.
We had just known her through Instagram and like kind of built a relationship through Instagram and reached out to her because we really like her stuff. And she's such a huge supporter of small businesses. So we were wondering if she wanted to be a part of our video. And then, we met her and then we were like, okay, action. It was a really cool experience to like, and we found through social media, we get that question a lot actually, like, how do you find people? How do you hook up with people? We'll go to these different like craft shows and trade shows and people will be like, oh, Hunt and Gather, we follow you on Instagram and vice versa. So there's this it's a small world when it comes down to it, especially here in New York, because there's so many great designers here that we want to use, in our truck. So social media has been a huge part of our Kickstarter campaign and also just in general for our business.
Do you have any marketing strategies for when you get ready to start?
I mean, probably just what we're doing now. Like the social media thing seems to be working, and it seems to work for a lot of other people too. I think we'll probably use a little bit Twitter more because now I feel like I don't really get Twitter, unfortunately.
You know what? I don't either. And the shade, she's like a Twitter junkie, so I stay away from it. I don't understand it. And
I know it'll be helpful when we're out on the road and like trying to find more people and when we like letting people know where we are. I think it'll be very helpful. So that's definitely one thing that I want to implement. But I mean, I do think that Instagram is working. Facebook seems to be working. So, I've already also started planning our launch party. Yeah, she's planning. More than invited to. I'm really into it. It's going to be great. I already have a location. It's in Brooklyn. It's beautiful. I don't know when it'll be, but I'll send you an invite. But something, things like that, like little events. I know there's
other trucks in New York that we would love to like collaborate with. I think that would be really good as far as getting followers and getting people aware of the idea of a mobile business. Kind of collaborating with them would be really cool. So there's a lot of different avenues we can go down.
Yeah, and I feel like with Twitter, even though I know Estrell hates Twitter, but the cool thing about Twitter is there's Periscope now, too, so you could do, like, kind of the live broadcasting. So when you're at a location, you kind of stream live, and then that goes to your Twitter feed, and you can have it go other places, even though some people, I guess, are more Snapchat, so it depends on... You know, if you guys get into like one more social media thing, right?
Well, we have a Twitter. I feel like my mom when I'm on Twitter. Yeah. Sorry, Mom. I just don't. I just do not. I don't know. We should use it. That sounds lovely. That Periscope thing. We should look into it.
We literally have no idea what you're talking about. You said
okay. So definitely. So since you guys are on Twitter. Just download the Periscope app and you just use like Twitter to sign in because they go together, and you can literally like live broadcast. So you go on Periscope, you hit like start recording, and then people out in the world or whoever's following you can see exactly what you're doing. Right.
Yeah, I guess the key is to have like a really good title so it'll make people want to click on the video.
Yeah.
Right.
Allison is feverishly looking for a pen right now.
And then it'll be cool if you can just like do random broadcasts on like your plans for the truck.
Oh, that's so cool. See?
Yeah.
Helping each other. That's a really good idea.
See, I can give advice on Periscope, but I just won't use it.
Yeah, I mean, I have to like pull her teeth to like even get on Periscope. She's like, I gotta get on camera? What?
Yeah, I don't know about
that. But so we just have a few questions for both of you guys, just so the audience can get to know you a little bit better.
Okay.
Do you guys have a favorite blog, book, or TV show? And if so, what is it?
You want to go?
No, I was just going to say Megan binge watches Netflix constantly, so it changes every day.
No, I'm just a lazy person. Yeah, it's really an alternating rotation between like Bob's Burgers, The Mindy Project, and what did I say? Master Chef Junior.
Yeah.
But as far as books go, I would say that my go-to I've read over and over is Twyla Tharp's The Creative Habit. She is this amazing choreographer. She's choreographed a lot of, she did, I think, the Billy Joel musical was her like big claim to fame. But she writes this really beautiful book about kind of what we were just talking about, like the blank piece of paper in front of you and how to get started and where creativity comes from. And, you know, where she finds creativity through dance, she makes a lot of parallels with life. So I've read that book probably four or five times. It's a really lovely book if you have a chance to pick it up.
Oh, yeah, I'll check it out on Amazon. And we'll also, for the listeners, we'll include it in the show notes.
Nice. Yeah. What's your favorite show, Allison?
I have a lot, but I mean, I go back to 30 Rock and Friends all the time because those
Friends, yes,
like
classic
candy. So, yeah, and then I just started reading this Bruce Springsteen biography that I took from my dad over Thanksgiving. That's really good.
Oh, neat.
And yeah, solidifying my love for the boss even more. And then, yeah, I mean, I listen to podcasts constantly because we commute to the city. So I couldn't even begin to tell you. I've got like on my podcast app probably like 25 that I just listen to every day. You know, I like rotate and listen to a new one every day. But this is definitely on the rotation. Yours is.
Yeah. Yours, we both listen to Lore.
Yeah, This American Life.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
There's like so many. Yeah. I could like spend an hour.
Yeah. Well, you know what the weird thing is like even when we were launching this podcast and we were telling everybody like, hey, you know, listen to the podcast. We had some people and they were like, what's a podcast?
Yeah. And I thought they were like pulling my leg. I'm like, are you serious right now?
But it's funny, but once people find out what they are, they do get addicted. And before you know, they have like 20. And I feel like cereal is like the gateway drug. Like once people listen to cereal, then they're like, oh, what else is out there?
Right. And that's how it was for me. Like Nashay tried to, put me up on cereal. And I'm like, you know what? I went to the first episode and it was like an hour. I said, Nashay, I don't have time for this. This is but once I started, I couldn't stop.
Yeah.
So good.
I just finished the follow-up to Serial. Like the little law group that they hired in Serial, they have their own podcast. So that's been really interesting and time-consuming. But our commute's like an hour. So it's nice.
You need something to do while you're on the train.
Yeah, you do. And why not learn, right? Or be entertained.
Exactly.
Now, when your mobile boutique launches, if you could pick, let's say, any celebrity, entertainer, model, or athlete, who would you want to be at the launch?
Oh my gosh.
Well, I'm celebrity crazy, so I don't think I would care as long as it was a celebrity. Like, I freak out. I saw Big from Sex and the City today.
Oh my God. Oh my God, I love that.
And I was so excited. So, I mean, I don't think it would matter. I just get so, like, celebrity crazed anytime I see anyone.
I don't really know.
Yeah.
I'm the opposite. I don't really know. They could be right next to me. I don't know who they are.
Yeah.
Probably Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yeah.
I would die. I don't know if he's relevant anymore.
I would say, though, like, if Kim Kardashian came in, that would be, like, great for business because she's got, like, over 1 million followers.
Yeah, that's true, because all she has to do is take one picture.
She could just take a selfie with our truck in the background and I'd be happy.
So, I mean, I would be
set.
upset if she came in. She probably wouldn't, but anyway.
We'll just park outside where, like, we know she's going to be.
Yeah.
I feel like that's the cool part about New York. It seems like more than other places, you just run into random entertainers.
Yeah. What was that? We saw, in one night, we saw David Letterman and who's the other guy?
And Jonah Hill.
And within 10 minutes of each other.
Weird.
But, like, a drugstore, like, nothing fancy.
But that's New York.
Yeah.
And then as you guys are kind of like working, your full-time jobs, trying to make this mobile boutique work, what do you do besides Netflix, to just wind down and just de-stress?
I like to cook a lot, so I do like that. That kind of helps me distress a bit. And
gosh, you took Netflix off the table. That's hard.
What about Amazon Prime Video?
Shopping on Amazon? No, so I would say that dancing. So like I said, I teach salsa dancing. So I say anything that's a really good de-stressor to just go and dance and forget everything that happened during the day. So that would be mine. If Netflix is off the table.
But Netflix number one.
Number one. Yeah. Yes, for sure. Always and forever.
And then Android or iPhone, and what's your favorite app?
I have an iPhone, and I'm trying to get Megan to switch to the iPhone too, but she's got an Android.
I have an Android. And the only reason I would switch is because iPhones have way cuter cases.
Yeah.
Okay. Just so I'm clear.
Yeah. The only reason.
Wait.
Because my is,
so nothing about the technology would compel you to purchase the phone.
I have a MacBook. I have an iPad. I have everything. I have an Apple TV. Like,
oh, weird, but just not the phone.
I know.
Well,
like a long time ago, my brother was like, "Get an Android," and I was like, "Okay." So now I'm like, I'm just comfortable with it. I don't know.
It's like it. So it's like if you got a new phone, like iPhone, you would have to like relearn the operating system.
And you guys just got like the swipe text. Like, what is that? We've had that forever.
What Apple does is they wait until they see what everybody else does, and then they build the perfect version of it.
They're like fun. They're little cheaters that I love so much. What's your favorite app?
But for favorite apps, mine's probably Instagram, and the Kickstarter one is getting a lot of traffic for me right now because I'm like, definitely. But yeah, I think
Obsessively,
Instagram.
right?
I don't know. My phone's dead, or I would look at it.
See? Android.
Yeah.
See? All right, touche. Yeah, I don't know. I guess okay, obviously the one I check the most is like Facebook and Instagram. But, there's a cool app that I use. It's called If This Then That.
Oh, yes. The FITT or
Yeah.
whatever. Yes.
It really rolls off the tongue.
I know. It's like,
Yeah.
that is like a tongue twister.
But yeah, you can set it. They have they call them recipes, and you can set it. Like I have my phone set that if I'm at work, it goes on vibrate like automatically. There's 1,000 different things that you can do. You just set like this to do this when this happens. So that's kind of fun, but obviously Instagram is, maybe Twitter soon. Who knows?
Yeah.
Yes. Periscope.
Yeah.
What would you attempt to do if you knew you could not fail?
I think this is what I would do, honestly, because like this is the first big like leap that I've made other than like moving to New York. But yeah, I mean, because this is like a pretty scary thing. So if I knew I couldn't fail, I think I would like definitely have done this. That or like try out for like a Broadway show.
Oh, neat.
See, the truth comes out.
Yeah. I don't know how I can't sing or dance, so that would not go.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Because you can't fail.
I can't. Oh yeah. You're stuck with me.
Does fly count? Could I fly?
Like Superman fly,
Yeah.
or like fly an airplane?
No, I don't. No, I don't want to fly an airplane. I want to fly. No, I don't
really fly.
like really fly.
Yeah.
If I couldn't fail, maybe. Gosh, I don't know. I guess something that would have something very similar to this. If not this, something that would be like life changing, which this is. I don't know. That's a good question. I'm gonna go with
that is tough.
I'm gonna go with fly.
But you know what? Okay, with the flying thing, I get it, but I would need to have like 100% written confirmation from God that I'm not going to fail.
Yeah, so
That's close enough.
I would just want like the superpowers too to go with it. That would just make it really cool. I'd probably be dangerous to the world, but that's okay.
Really?
Superhero gone bad.
great responsibility.
Well, thank you, ladies, for being on. And where can the audience find you? Like, please let us know, like, any links or anything else you'd like us to share.
Our website is www, which is the World Wide Web. It's huntandgathertruck.com, and our Instagram is the same, so it's at huntandgathertruck. And then for our Kickstarter, if you just go to Kickstarter.com, you can search Hunt and Gather, and it'll bring our campaign right up.
Thank you for coming on.
Thank you.
Thank you. This was so fun.
So I hope you guys found this episode to be really helpful and inspiring. I hope you all go over to their Kickstarter website and support them. We definitely have to support each other. And we will include a link to their Kickstarter in the show notes, and also a link to like some of the podcasts we talked about and the book we talked about too.
And I really would recommend everybody go check out their Kickstarter, because especially if you plan on doing it yourself, they have really, really good branding, and they have this cool video, everything. Their pictures are awesome. Check out the gifts or the offerings that you will receive if you donate money. It's great. It's great.
Mm-hmm. And I'm glad you said something about branding, because here's my little PSA. Service announcement. I know. Here we go. Nishay. Here Nishay goes. People, make sure that your branding is on point. Make sure your website is on point, and make sure your pictures are on point. I'm telling you, don't have fuzzy pictures. Don't have pictures that look weird or awkward. Like you know what pictures are good, right? You know, if you don't have professional lighting, try to take most of your pictures in natural sunlight. When you're taking pictures of your truck, take a million different angles. Like never just take one or two shots of something and then try to post it. Like every Instagram or whatever photo that I post, I probably took 25 versions of it and then I picked the right one, edited it in ViscoCam, and then posted it. So I just say that to just say, you know, remember, just always be kind of conscious of what you're putting out there, because that's going to be what attracts new people to your business. And Hunt and Gather, I feel like they haven't even started yet. But yeah, when you go over to their Kickstarter page, like they got this cute little logo, this cute little, you know, little animation and illustration. And even the picture that we have of them that we're using for this to promote this episode is great, and it's fun, it's funky, it kind of represents their personality. So try to keep that in mind. And if you guys ever need examples of like websites or pictures that we think are great, just let us know and maybe we'll do a special blog post or something on it. But these girls definitely are starting it off right. And you know what else, Astra? I like that they took 2 years to really map it out and take classes.
Right. Yeah, I was actually just about to mention that. Like, just by looking at the Kickstarter page, not even going to their website or their social media, you can tell that they've put planning into this. Even though they haven't actually opened their business, they have planned it. And that's what you have to do. Like, if you can tell that they look successful already and they haven't even started, then that, to me, that says that's somebody I want to invest my money into.
No, absolutely. I'm looking at like their little wooden business cards. Everything is just so cute. I'm just eating it all up. I'm going to go in there and donate. I'm just trying to figure out what item I want. Because, you know, they mentioned it briefly, or not briefly, they talked about it, you know, how they had to kind of choose like what the things are, like if you pledge X amount of dollars, like what you would get for it. And they have like a cute little leather keychain, and they've got like this geometric planter and a genuine leather tray, and then also like a t-shirt and a bag that you could get. But they're really cute items. But yeah, anywho, go
and, you know,
check them out.
To piggyback on that, I know some people are like, oh my God, what would I give away? I don't really have anything yet. That's cool. You don't really have to have any products yet. Maybe if you're a crafty person, you can make some of your own things to give away. Or if you know people who have businesses, or you know, like artist friends or designers, maybe talk to them and see if they can donate a few things so that you can give those away as rewards. You have to do a little networking and be a little creative. Yeah. You don't always have to have stuff like physically on hand, you know, to give away.
Other than that, we hope you enjoyed the episode. We're going to be closing season 1 out next week. That will be our last episode for the year. And then we'll start up again the first week in January, which is like, wow, it's a little crazy.
Yeah, we've only been doing this, since May, I want to say. So yeah, we've had 40 episodes. Well, 41, and it's only been 6 months.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Next week. So it's been exciting, wild ride. And like, you guys have been awesome. Your feedback has been awesome. You know, you guys kind of definitely help us determine who we should interview and what we should ask. Next year, our goal is to also try to get some more like owners of brick and mortar stores, because we know a lot of you want to do both, where you have a fashion truck and you have a brick and mortar store. But we want to make sure that we are giving you the information that you need in order so you know what you're getting yourself into. So when you go for that brick and mortar, you know the questions to ask, you know how much capital you might be out of, you know how to look for a good location. So we're going to see if we can find that, and maybe some people too that put on these big events, you know, that fashion truck or food trucks, or sometimes that, to help give you advice on maybe getting into those events or just planning an event of your own. So know that more is coming soon.
And we appreciate all of your questions, and just know that your questions help us too. We have so many people ask us things that we don't know the answers to, and that helps us by, you know, it encourages us to research, because we want to provide as much information as we can. So we research these questions for our listeners and the other truck owners, and we learn. So we research, give the information to you, and we also, you know, we grow because we seek to find more information to give out to you guys. So, you know, everybody knows what's coming at the end of every episode. And and I don't know why Nashay makes me the person that seems like I'm, what's the word you use? Begging? So she puts this off on me. But it's not really begging in my mind. I feel that since I'm such a wonderful person, I'm not even going to include Nashay in this.
Wow.
I'm such a wonderful person. Like, I feel that just off GP, you guys should just like do this. And when I say do this, I mean go and be a patron on Patreon. Support us. We have so many things that we have on the pipeline that we want to do, and we need your support so that we can give back to everybody else.
And share the episode too.
Yes. And in addition to that, iTunes people, we need we need you to go to iTunes and rate us and leave like an illustrious, like glorifying review. I mean, it's only fair, right? It's only fair.
I have Estrelle do this because she's just so good at it.
I don't even know what else. I mean, to be honest, this is like the best part of the interview. Like the whole episode this is what I look forward to like asking people. Yeah, asking people to give us stuff. Like, I look forward to this so much, even though you forced me to do it.
Of course is such a strong word. Okay, can we wrap this up? They've been with us for like an hour.
Okay, so you can go on your little tangents. But I can't sit here and beg for 5 minutes.
No.
This is so unfair. Okay. Wrap it up, Jay. Wrap it up. Go.
Okay. As always, if you have a fashion truck, please remember to register your fashion truck on findafashiontruck.com. Give us a little while to review the listing, and then we will publish it. Also, remember that you have to have a photo of your truck, and it should be a pretty good photo too, because this is what attracts people to your listing. So if you don't have a photo, then I would just say just sign up as a general member initially, and just remember to sign up as a fashion truck once you get a good photo of your truck. And then you can find us on Twitter and Instagram at FFT_official_, or you could just do a search for Find a Fashion Truck. You could search for Find a Fashion Truck on Facebook to get to our page. If you want to be part of our private Facebook group, remember to join us at Let's Talk About Fashion Trucks. And remember, all of these links will be in the show notes for episode 041. So you could just go in there and actually just type 041 and it'll come right up. And yeah, and if you have any questions or want to leave us a voicemail, remember you could just head on over to the website, click on the podcast page or the contact page, and there's like that little widget that will allow you to leave us a message.
Oh, and if there are any new fashion trucks in the Chicagoland area, hit me up. I'd love to come check you guys out, take a couple pictures. I can share them on social media and whatnot. So, well, it was great sharing with you guys today. Peace out.
Bye.
Thanks for parking here.